Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. And in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Professor Huyang from the Ahsoka series. If you happen to enjoy the video, hit the like button down below, subscribe if you are new, and let's just get straight into this. Let's take a look at this card back. I do like the image that they've chosen for the card back on this one, and you can see the Ahsoka logo in the middle there, and I'm enjoying the blue as well. I think it's a overall nice presentation. Good to have in the line. I know this character was a favourite of many from the show. I'm not 100% sure if they've got the colour of this guy right. I'm going to be opening it in a second and we'll be checking out in detail, but to me it doesn't really match that. He's more of like a champagne metal colour. I think they've gone too far on the sort of, I don't know, light brown stroke tan colour there, and it's almost like carbonised. But once again, as I said, we'll get it out of the package and we'll check it out a bit more. And even on the back there, he looks a little bit different there as well. And there's a little bit of a write-up there about him if you want to check that out. Pause the video. We've got the Vintage Collection logo there, Disney and Hasbro at the bottom. Not too much else going on. But yeah, as I say, this one's quite a nice one to have in the line of Ahsoka figures, especially because he's one of the main characters from the show, which is what we want. And all in all, that is a pretty nice card back. I do like droids and stuff in Star Wars, so yeah, it's pretty cool. So with all that being said, let's open it up and check out the figure. Alright then, so here we have Professor Huyang out of the packaging, and first and foremost I've got to say that the colour of him isn't so bad outside of the packaging. I think it looks worse inside the packaging, inside that bubble, if that makes sense. Of course it's right up against that image of him, so the contrast is there for all to see. So, but when he's outside of the packaging he's not as bad, but I still don't think he is correct in the colouring that he should be. I still think that he should be a bit more of like a champagne coloured, as I mentioned before, a little bit like U3PO, I think his name is, from the Tantive 4. And I will show this by comparing this figure compared to the one that we got in that Disney Parks 4-pack. And also, whilst comparing this to the Disney Parks version, we'll also see, unfortunately, some shortcuts that Hasbro have taken with this particular figure. But what I would say is that the articulation on this droid is phenomenal for a droid. It's quite unbelievable. It's got all the articulation that you would usually expect with like a trooper or a Mandalorian or something like that, with the absence of hinged wrists. But apart from that, he has everything else, which I'll go through later on. So when you're comparing that compared to the Disney Parks one, obviously this one blows him away completely. But I'm just going to bring in the Disney Parks one now so you can just see the difference. Okay, so the first thing that you'll notice is the height of the figure. Both are supposed to be in scale with 3.75 inch figures. This one on the left, the Vintage Collection, is a lot taller than the Disney Parks one. I haven't had time, I'm sorry, to check which is accurate, but I'm getting the feeling that the Vintage Collection one will probably be the more accurate of the two. But just look at the paint applications there. First of all, I think the colour of the Disney Parks version is more accurate in terms of just the overall body colour of the droid. It's a lot lighter. However, you will see that the legs are the same colour as the body, whereas on the Vintage Collection one, he has different coloured legs. So once again, I will need to rewatch the show to see if that is screen accurate or not. But what you'll also see is that the paint applications on his chest, you know, this one has a little silver thing going on there. Our one doesn't on the Vintage Collection. But mainly, the thing that really sort of stood out for me was his mid-torso area. If you look at the image on the card back, if I can just bring that in, you know, there's lots of colours going on, wires and stuff like that, white wires, red wires, and all that kind of stuff going on his midriff right there. Now, the Disney Parks version did paint that up, so you've got a little bit of blue and a little bit of red in there, whereas our guy from the Vintage Collection, unfortunately, is just all black. You can see that the wires are sculpted in, they just haven't painted them. And to me, that is like a big shortcut, and unfortunately, you know, it's not something that I'm too happy about, really. I think you need to get these things screen accurate, especially when it's a main character from the show and it's an all new figure. You've got to go to town on these things and make them as screen accurate as possible. But there's the figure. You can see that he does shine quite nicely. He's got kind of like a carbonized effect to him. I've got him holding two of the accessories. We've got this like data pad thing, and I believe that this thing is like a tool that he uses to construct lightsabers, I think. Let me know in the comment section below if that is not correct. But There you can see him there. And we'll do some super close-ups in a minute, and we'll do the articulation as well. He also comes with these removable arms, which you use on the back of the figure on that backpack there, which I will show you how that works in a second. Alright then, so let's get a super close-up look at Professor Huyang there. You can see the paint applications on the head, and you can really see that sort of like carbonized effect that they've used all over the sort of body of the figure there. And we'll just bring him out slowly just so you can see. Hopefully it'll stay in focus. And yeah, when I was talking about the articulation, it's, you know, quite unbelievable for a droid, really. Let's just take the backpack off. So that's just like a little peg there in his back. So I'll show you how the backpack works in a minute. But let's just have a look at the articulation. So the head is on a double barbell. You've got serious range of motion on there, like everything you need. He has the hinged shoulders, which obviously go all the way around. He has hinged elbows. Take note, 8D8. No hinges at the wrist, just swivel wrists. But then he has a top torso ball there, but he also swivels at the waist. We have the barbell hips. We have a split at the top of the thigh. We have a hinge on the knee, which is just about 90, and then rockers on the ankles. Now, in terms of other details of the figure here, he has this soft vinyl apron with all of his pockets and tools hanging down, and that's all nicely sculpted in there. And as I say, that's soft vinyl plastic, so it doesn't really affect the articulation. Plus you've got the split here with some more pouches and stuff hanging down, more sculpted pockets on the back, and again on that side as well. So really, really nicely sculpted figure. Looks great. Articulation is great. It's just the colour of him that I'm a little bit concerned about, and whether that is screen accurate or not. And also the lack of paint apps on that mid-torso there is, it's not good. You need the wires on there. You need to be able to see that he's a droid, and those are all sort of like working parts. His little data pad here is quite nicely sculpted. It doesn't have any paint applications on it whatsoever. It's literally just a sort of beige piece of plastic. But again, you can see some of the sculpting work on there. I believe that's supposed to be like a, you know, like an iPad data pad type thing that he uses. And then in the same colour, we have this thing here, which I believe is, you know, as I say, some kind of tool that's used to construct lightsabers, maybe. Let me know in the comments. And then the backpack. The backpack is sculpted in the colour of the droid. So it's this more sort of like a tan colour. There's the peg there. So these are his arms folded away. Now again, the Disney Parks version is just the same like this. It's not removable though, and you don't have the extra arms. And all you do is basically pull the arms out of the side of this piece here, and then you get the pieces of his other arms. So you put one in like that, and one in the other side. Like so. I don't know whether maybe you can put one in the lower one. I'm not sure if you'd want to do that, but you can if you wanted to do that. But I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that. It's supposed to go in the top like so. And then you get the back of the figure here, and you just put that peg in there, and then there you go. You can sort of move those around, but they do not have any articulation at the sort of elbow or the wrist on those. They just go up and down like that. But I guess it's still quite nice for them to include that. I don't know whether I've got those upside down or not. Is one supposed to go on the other side? Is it supposed to be more like that? Let's have a look. What looks better? There you go. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. So there you go. And they can fold right down like so. So there you go then, guys. That is Professor Huyang from the Ahsoka series. I hope you've enjoyed the review. I've tried to go through all of the details. As I said, just to reiterate, I'm not 100% sold on the base colour of the droid. I'm really disappointed that we don't have paint applications on all the wires and everything on his torso there. But in terms of the sculpt and the articulation, they've got it spot on. I think he looks really good. And there's the back of him there. You can see all that different paint apps on the back of his legs. But yeah, He's going to look good in the collection. I think he'll look better than the Disney Parks one. I think he's more scaled in terms of how tall he is anyway. So that is Professor Huyang. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this review. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate the extra support. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we shall see you on the next one.